Welcome back to Toledo's Most Watched 9 a.m. show. Good day. This is the month of love, but shouldn't we love each other and try to make our relationships with people and things the best that could be all the time?
I agree with that, but that sometimes can be a challenge. We have help this morning from an unusual place, the Ohio State University Extension Office and Toledo Public Schools. Patrice Powers-Barker is here with Cindy Schultz to explain. So good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. So let's start on the relationship topic before we start to talk about finances with you, Cindy. I'm looking forward to that. So from the relationship standpoint, when you're talking to two people, a new couple, what are some of the base level things that you suggest they do?
Well, just in general, to tie these two together, we're doing the topic of family and consumer sciences. So that family science, our relationships and working together, and that consumer science, it is not unusual that married couples, one of the top issues that we might not see eye to eye or it's hard to talk about is finances. There's certainly other issues. So the Strong Couples Project is not specifically about finances, but I think those who might take advantage of it find it easier to talk and work together and problem solve. So I'll talk a minute about that Strong Couples Project.
This is kind of really cool because it's a free program for people to get maybe not counseling per se, but get some pretty good
tips and techniques. Yeah. So we are educational, so it very clearly it's not counseling or therapy, but this program that couples can sign up for free is targeted to married couples of any age or any stage of their relationship. And by signing up, you sign up online, you commit to watching some online classes. So that's where you're going to learn these techniques to work together better. And then there's 5 short coaching calls. So as a Strong Couples Project coach, I meet with couples on Zoom, and they're putting those practices into place, and they get to practice that. So that focus on communication, fun and friendship, commitment, and problem solving is the overall educational program, and then working on those skills.
What do you find is number one when it comes to married couples out of those things you listed that most couples seem to struggle with?
Well, with this program, it's really interesting. A lot of times we might think, we got a problem, let's work on it. We got to figure this out. But we really take that time in this program to talk about that communication and to step back and use some techniques and put it into practice and kind of slow our conversations down. So sometimes putting that in place, maybe the problem isn't quite as big. Or when we get to those problems, talking about finances, we come from different backgrounds, we might have different goals, but if that is the topic we're talking about, we have these tools in place to slow that conversation down, and then the problem solving is kind of a secondary.
Yeah, communication, it's a tricky thing for a lot of people, isn't it? So maybe they have these tools, and as you said, people come from different backgrounds when it comes to finances. So you're working with students at Start High School to get them thinking about personal finance.
Right. It is a required course for Toledo Public Schools for the students who graduate from Toledo Public Schools. It is state law that the class of 2026 in all of the state of Ohio will have to have a half a credit of personal finance to graduate.
That's great.
It is great. Something I wish I had when I was in school. So this partnership, now you talk to these high school students, but now a married couple. These two adults who come from two different backgrounds, they were raised differently. How are you helping them to bridge that gap to figure out how to do it as a unit?
Well, with the students, just last week we identified what type of a spender they were. So you either had a miser, you had someone who was a spender, you had someone who was a saver. And then I think you need to look at, what do you have yourself, and then having those conversations. And maybe also bringing in some outside resources. And I also tell my students that I am always available to them, because sometimes it's hard for a 9th grader, 10th grader, even a 12th grader to understand about money. And I always tell them you need to make sure you have conversations. And I say sometimes it's best to talk to the big people in your life. And I say you don't want to do it in the heat of the moment when they're having a financial struggle, but say, when would be a good time? Maybe your parent, an auntie, maybe a step parent or foster parent, just having these little conversations. And also I think as parents, taken the time to explain to them about decision making instead of saying, no, we can't have that. Explain to them why. But then it has to be a time that they're willing to listen, and also a time that you're patient with them to explain it to them. And we are such a consumeristic society. Explaining to them why they ask when you're at Kohl's or you're at TJ Maxx or you're at at the mall, why do they want you to sign up for these credit cards?
Right.
They're making the money off the interest. They're not making the money off the T-shirts that they're selling you that are 60% off.
Right. I see those Afterpay all the time too. If you buy anything online, it's like $50 right now or $8.50 with Afterpay or something. So it's even small purchases these days. People are paying them down kind of like on, and it's kind of like on credit, when you,
right.
Yeah. So people can sign up for these classes. Maybe they're in that situation. They're going, well, I'm a spender and she's a spender, and we're both spenders.
or I'm not a spender and she's a spender. I'm a saver, she's not a saver.
And
so
now
we're help.
and now we're butting heads a little bit. So how do they get signed up for these courses?
So we'd like people to visit our website. We're with the Ohio State University Extension here in Lucas County. So it's lucas.osu.edu. And certainly that Strong Couples Project is kind of geared towards married couples. But if you want information on finances, just like these examples today, people can learn across the lifespan. So there's other resources if you want to learn about, teaching your youth about money, learning about what high school students have the opportunity, or if you're an adult and you think, man, I wish I had that class in high school. We have some links to different resources about finances.
OSU Extension.
Love that. Because
who would have thunk it?
not just the high school students need this.
Yeah.
There are adults who need it.
Absolutely, but hopefully providing that foundation for them now.
Yes.
It's going to help going forward.
Yeah, good stuff, ladies. Thanks for being
Thank
here
you.
today.
Thank you.
Well, next on Good Day, we have some live music.
Yes, so we're getting ready for Acoustics for Autism. We want to thank you for watching Toledo's most fun, local, and positive 9 a.m. show. Good day. We'll be back in just a moment.